35 things Peter did to save animals. Peter stopped cow cruelty. Peter saved Ben the bear. That doesn't sound too bad. I wonder why everybody hates Peter. Peter tried to link milk to autism. Peter made an anti-Pokemon game. They ruined a photographer. They criticized Steve Irwin. They kill family pets. They are not what they seem. They are murderers. Oh. That's why. Everyone and their mom knows Peter. And everyone hates them. Why is that though? Well, Peter has an issue. And that is their reputation. It's abysmal. Honestly, everyone hates Peter. Whether or not you actually know what Peter is all about, or what they actually do, the sheer mention of Peter is always met with frowns. And if you take a look into the social medias, it's not much different. There are even memes about how much Peter is hated. Why is it though? Why does everyone have this unconscious desire to punch someone wearing a Peter shirt in the face? Well, I'ma tell you. They just go too far with some of their ads, to a point that the shock value of the adverts no longer becomes a tool to gain attraction and attention, but rather a barrier that prevents people from rallying behind Peter. Honestly, if you knew that Peter invested money into making an anti-Pokemon game where you fight as Pokemon and have to defeat Ash, purely because they thought that Pokemon was a game that promoted animal abuse, would you be happy that they used your money to design and then advertise that game? Probably not. By the way, an anti-Pokemon game isn't even the worst offender. I don't feel comfortable for showing the worst offenders. So, can we summarize at this point that the advert department is the cause of all of the hate towards Peter? No. Because all this extremist stuff originated from a core idea that Peter holds onto so furiously that it is quite hilarious. And that idea is that only vegans can be animal lovers and only they have the right to do something for said animals. That statement is wrong, of course. However, you see it in every single action that Peter does. Whenever I see a Peter ad, whether it advocates against animal abuse or highlights the presumable benefits of not eating meat, such as the hilariously bad masculinity ad which I linked in the description, I always understand where they are coming from. What I don't understand is why they just can't get over themselves and not shove veganism down our throats. Instead of Peter approaching the topic of excessive meat consumption a bit more reasonable, with a call to reduce meat consumption, for example, or inform yourself about what you buy, they go all out and demand the viewer to go vegan. And that just doesn't work for multiple reasons. Number one, if you tell me something, if you order me to do something, I will be immediately less likely to do it than I would be if it was suggested, or even better, I realized myself that I should reduce meat consumption. Number two, not everybody can go vegan. First, being vegan and having a diet that is actually enjoyable is expensive. Furthermore, a vegan diet is time consuming, and no matter how many 10-minute vegan meals adverts you see. Number three, man is not supposed to be vegan. It is possible, but the ideal diet isn't actually fully vegan. And no matter how often I see these propaganda vegan videos, a healthy diet just doesn't need to be vegan. And while you might convince some folk with difficult names or made up facts, anybody that actually knows what he or she is talking about can tell you that to live a long life, veganism isn't actually required. However, I did see an ad recently that actually made me think a bit. Treat yourself.
At the beginning, there was fire. It burnt inside the heart of the warrior. He, provider and protector, in the fight against starvation. Every day, a departure into the unknown. In a world without mercy, it was to eat or to be eaten. But today is today. So please, cut the Stone Age mentality. We can totally chew on something different than tortured animals.
Now I took this advert because while it does use shocking imagery, it isn't as extreme or as radical as other PETA ads. I actually like the ad. It is honest while at the same time not as disturbing as other advertisements. When I first saw this ad, I actually was kind of invested, but instead of following the last scene with the aforementioned reduced meat consumption, it again demands the viewer to cut out all meat, and that just doesn't work for many people. Now, as I said before, I do like the ad. The beginning of the ad is good, it makes you think, but then moving over into the extreme and telling me that the only way to act on my current feelings is to go vegan, that just doesn't work, and I won't act at all. Rather, how about you suggest reducing meat consumption first and then leading the people to the benefits of reducing meat consumption or going vegan? And will have a much bigger effect if you put a "please reduce meat consumption" at the end of your ad rather than a "go vegan." Because my reaction and everybody else's reaction was "fuck you, PETA, I'm not going vegan," and you achieved nothing. Don't get me wrong here, PETA is successful with what they do. However, even 6 million alleged supporters is nothing in comparison to 7 billion people on this earth. And I guarantee you, PETA, that if you were a bit more open and more reasonable, you could actually help all animals in captivity and not just a minor percentage. Lastly, PETA, stop lying. I do not know why you think that lying about animal cruelty actually helps prevent animal cruelty, but it doesn't. As an example, take the sheep ad, where you claimed that the shearing of sheep was a brutal process that left the sheep mutilated and dead. A plain lie which many farmers actually protested against. This mentality of having to lie to get people to stand behind you is the same mentality as deleting negative comments will result in people supporting you. It won't. If you can't convince someone with the truth, then you shouldn't lie, because it will always backfire against you. Furthermore, you have to fix your social media department. Now this is rather recent, but if you remember, PETA had something to say about Steve Irwin. I also linked a PETA article in the description, which explains why they don't like Stephen Irwin. The crux of the matter is that they believe he wasn't an actual wildlife supporter and went about protecting animals in a completely wrong way. Now, having that belief is okay, but going onto Twitter and shitting on a deceased person that was beloved by many people is a bad idea. I think PETA sometimes forgets that it is a charity organization. The people that are mad at you are the same people that keep you alive. Furthermore, some of your supporters might have even watched Steve Irwin as a kid and maybe even became members of PETA because of him. So not only do you need to be conscious of the fact that you are a charity organization, but you also need to be a bit more delicate when it comes to these sort of things. So, there are a lot more things that can be said about PETA. I just picked some stuff that stood out to me. And whether or not you agree with the points I brought up in this video, you can't argue the fact that many people hate PETA. Now, since PETA is a charity organization, this is a very bad thing. Imagine if UNICEF or WWF would have the same reputation as PETA. They would lose so much money, it wouldn't be funny anymore. And now imagine that PETA had a better reputation. Tons more animals could be saved. They'd have way more supporters, and what PETA says might not even fall on deaf ears. That's also one of the reasons I made this video. PETA is unable to jump over its own shadow and doesn't realize that their extremist attitude might invoke reactions when it comes to combating animal cruelty, but not when it comes to gaining support. So, PETA, you won't achieve worldwide veganism overnight, so stop trying, and rather try to improve your reputation. Focus on saving animals and highlight that. Most people won't go vegan, but might reduce their meat consumption, or stop buying from Forever 21. I mean, they might even support PETA. So, what are the chances that PETA gets to see this video? Well, 0. But I hope that if they do see it, that maybe they take a look at what I have mentioned and maybe go about fixing their reputation. And if not for PETA itself, then for the animals. Anyway, that was all I had. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you didn't, dislike. No problem there. Well, we'll see each other in the video 27 original.